Hello everybody! If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 690, The Missing Teabag. Intermediate. Detective Basil Finch was famous in London for two things: solving baffling crimes and never drinking his tea without a proper biscuit. One rainy Thursday morning, he arrived at the headquarters of Brewed Secrets, a boutique tea shop that claimed its blends could make anyone speak the truth. The owner, Mrs. Penelope Pudding, greeted him with trembling hands and a half-empty teacup. "Detective, someone has stolen our most prized item, the golden tea bag," she whispered. "It's said to contain a rare leaf from the Himalayas. Without it, our customers will never feel honest again." Basil raised an eyebrow. "And you want me to find a tea bag?" "Yes, if the thief sells it, the whole city could be flooded with lies," Penelope replied, eyes wide. Basil accepted the case, but he had a secret plan. He ordered a fresh pot of Earl Grey, added a splash of milk, and set a small plate of biscuits beside him. While he sipped, he listened to the shop's chatter. A nervous young barista named Tom kept glancing at the back door. An elderly gentleman, Mr. Whiskers, was polishing a brass teapot that looked far too expensive for a modest shop. And in the corner, a mysterious woman in a red coat stared at the empty shelf where the golden tea bag once rested. Basil decided to interview each suspect, but he added a twist. He pretended to be a tourist who loved tea. "Excuse me," he said to Tom, "could you recommend a good blend for a rainy day?" Tom blushed. "Our special is the truth teller. It's very popular." "Ah, the truth teller. I've heard it makes people speak honestly. Does it come with a golden bag?" Basil asked, winking. Tom swallowed. "Well, there was a bag, but it disappeared last night. I think maybe someone took it to sell it to a collector." Next, Basil approached Mr. Whiskers. "Sir, that teapot looks marvellous. Did you notice anything unusual yesterday?" Mr. Whiskers adjusted his spectacles. "I did see a shadow near the back door, a tall figure wearing a red coat. I thought it was just a customer, but they moved quickly." Finally, Basil turned to the woman in the red coat. "Madam, I'm fascinated by your coat. It's quite striking. Have you seen the golden tea bag?" She smiled slyly. "Detective, I'm merely a fan of fashion. I haven't touched any tea." Basil thanked them all and stepped outside. The rain had stopped, leaving a slick street. He followed the faint scent of tea leaves drifting from a narrow alley. There, leaning against a brick wall, was the missing golden tea bag, wrapped in a newspaper titled "London's Latest Scandal." Beside it lay a small sack of coins. Just then the woman in the red coat appeared, her face illuminated by a street lamp. "You found it," she said, clapping slowly. "I stole it because I wanted to test the legend. If the tree really forces honesty, I'd finally admit I'm a spy for a rival tea company." Basil chuckled. "You're a bold one, miss." "Call me Agent Crimson," she replied, extending a hand. He shook it. "Agent Crimson, you're under arrest for theft and espionage, but I'll let you keep the biscuits as a peace offering." Mrs. Penelope arrived breathless, clutching a fresh bag of tea. "Detective Finch, you saved our reputation." Basil tipped his hat. "All in a day's work. Now, shall we have a cup of real tea, this time without any missing bags?" The shop erupted in laughter, and the mystery of the golden tea bag was solved, just in time for the next rainstorm. Vocabulary notes. Baffling, adjective, definition. Very confusing, hard to understand or solve. Example: Detective Basil Finch was famous for solving baffling crimes. Similar words: puzzling, perplexing, mystifying. Trembling, adjective, or verb, plus or minus ing. Definition: shaking slightly because of fear, cold, excitement, etc. Example: Mrs. Penelope Pudding greeted him with trembling hands. Similar words: shaking, quivering, shivering. Glance, verb, to look quickly or briefly at something. Definition: a brief look. Example: a nervous young barista kept glancing at the back door. Similar words: peek, peek over, skim. Slyly, adverb. Definition: in a secretive, cunning, or mischievous way. Example: she smiled slyly. Detective, I'm merely a fan of fashion. Similar words: cunningly, craftily, deviously. Under arrest, phrase, verb phrase. Definition: officially taken into police custody for committing a crime. Example: you're under arrest for theft and espionage, Basil said. Similar words: detained, taken into custody, booked. How you might use these words yourself. Baffling. The puzzle was so baffling that I needed a hint. Trembling. Her voice was trembling when she delivered the news. Glance. He gave the timetable a quick glance and saw the train was delayed. Slyly. The mouse moved slyly across the kitchen floor, avoiding the cat's gaze. Under arrest. The suspect was placed under arrest after the evidence was presented. Story written by Lumo AI. Image created by Designer AI. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're shifting gears a bit. Not quite true crime, more like, well, a fictional mystery analysis.
That's right. We're looking at this short story focused on a really unique theft. The goal is to sort of unpack it quickly, figure out the motive.
And the motive isn't money, which is interesting. It's about authenticity, truth itself.
Exactly. So let's start with our protagonist, Detective Basil Finch. He's got this reputation, solves the truly baffling stuff.
Right, the impossible cases. And he has a very specific thing about needing proper biscuits with his tea. Can't forget that.
Absolutely essential detail. So he gets called to this place, Brewed Secrets. It's a boutique tea shop.
And the owner, Mrs. Penelope Pudding, she's apparently quite distressed. Understandable.
Well, yeah, because this shop isn't just selling Earl Grey. They have this bold claim
that their tea blends, they could make anyone speak the truth. Quite the marketing angle.
Or maybe more than marketing. Anyway, the item stolen is the golden tea bag. Very dramatic name.
Sounds it. Contains some rare leaf from the Himalayas.
Apparently. And here's the kicker, the supposed stakes. Without this tea bag, the shop claims customers will never feel honest again.
Wow. Okay, so that sets it up immediately. It's not just about a missing artifact. It's about this, forced honesty concept.
Precisely. The real tension is, if you can just make someone truthful with tea, what does that even mean for honesty?
Does free will even play a part then? But Finch, his approach seems different. He doesn't just buy into the magic tea idea, does he?
No, not directly. He doesn't storm in demanding answers or relying on the tea's power. He takes a seat.
Right. He orders his Earl Grey, gets that plate of biscuits, very important, and just pretends to be a tourist.
It's clever. He uses these, conversational props. Blends in, asks casual questions, watches people.
He's after the truth the old-fashioned way, through observation, psychology, not some chemical shortcut.
And that subtle approach, well, it works. He's listening to the chatter, the gossip in the shop.
And he picks up on something.
Here's about this suspicious figure. Tall, wearing a very distinctive red coat. seen lurking near the back alley.
Ah, the plot thickens. And this figure, this woman in red, she was questioned.
She was, but apparently denied everything, and crucially, the witness described her as smiling. Well, the word used is slyly.
Slyly. Okay, that's a key detail. But hang on, if she's a spy, like maybe involved in espionage,
Yeah.
wouldn't she avoid a place famous for forcing truth? That seems like the last place a spy would want to be near. Kind of counterintuitive.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But maybe it wasn't counterintuitive. Maybe it was calculated.
How so?
Well, Finch follows this faint scent of tea leaves, leads him right to a narrow alleyway.
Finds the tea bag.
Finds the golden tea bag, yes. And just as he does, the woman in the red coat shows up.
Confrontation time.
Pretty much. She's revealed to be Agent Crimson. And yes, a spy for a competitor tea company.
Ah, so industrial espionage. Stealing secrets or recipes?
Not exactly. See, the motive wasn't money or stealing secrets in the usual sense. The tea bag was found with, like, a small bag of coins, almost like payment left behind.
Or just discarded, and it was wrapped in a newspaper.
Yeah. London's latest scandal suggests she wasn't planning on keeping it long term.
Okay, so if not profit, then what? Why steal this specific tea bag?
To test the legend. That was her stated motive. She wanted to see if the tea really did force honesty.
Wait, tests it on herself.
Exactly. She wasn't trying to make others confess. She was trying to use the artifact's power to make herself admit the truth.
Admit she was a spy. To break her own cover.
Precisely. It was a kind of roundabout way to force her own hand. This agent, described as sly and secretive, needed an external push.
Wow, so the theft was basically a mechanism for her own confession. That's complex.
Very. So Finch gets the tea bag back, safe and sound, and Agent Crimson.
Arrested, I assume, for theft.
Theft and espionage. That's how the story wraps it up.
Okay, so let's bring this back to you, the listener. This whole plot revolves around this idea, this fantasy of an honesty drug, right?
A quick fix for truth.
Yeah. And Agent Crimson, she was capable of deception, of being sly, right up until this artifact supposedly worked its magic.
It raises that question. If truth isn't something you arrive at through, courage or genuine self-reflection.
But it's just induced, like flicking a switch with a tea bag.
What value does that kind of forced truth really have compared to honesty that's well earned?
Definitely something to think about. Would you want the golden tea bag fix or the harder path of real confession?
A good question to leave things on.